So, yes, hello guys, and welcome back to another post-match analysis of the game that has just happened between Chelsea and Crystal Palace at Stamford Bridge. So the game has ended 1-1. It's a 1-all draw. However, there's a lot to talk about in this game. There's a lot of things that we can discuss overall about the overall performance in the game. So that is what we are going to try and talk about. And this is not the kind of performance that I expected. I thought that the attacking team, the attacking players did not impress quite well, especially in the second half. And I have my reservations with the game. So the game started. Nicholas Jackson managed to put Chelsea 1-0 up in the 25th minute. And you could see that Crystal Palace had a very organized defensive structure. They played against a back five. So it is the first time that this Chelsea team is actually playing against a team that is playing a back five, especially in the Premier League. They are used to play against a back four. So is this a blueprint that other managers, especially managers managing lower teams in the Premier League, are going to adapt against Chelsea? That is something that we'll also try and look at. So we conceded a very, very cheap goal in the second half, especially in the earlier minutes of the second half, when Eze managed to just score a rebound at the edge of the 18-yard box. Where was the midfield? And why did the ball not get cleared quite well? But those are just a lot of questions. But I saw some things in the game and I would really like to talk about. So first half, I think in the first half, we had much more control. We won the ball back quite well. I think it was more of Enzo Maresca's system. And in the first half, Palmer was able to receive the ball in pockets of spaces here and there. And sometimes he was able to try to effect the game. I think Noni Madueke's overall performance in this match was not quite impressive. It was quite shaky. We had a lot of he was losing the ball a lot. He was not taking on his players a lot, and the majority of the play was going through the left-hand side. So as Crystal Palace had seen how Chelsea actually managed to create overloads down the left during the Wolves game, drag Wolves all the way to the left and look to switch up play. They adapted by having their back five, and having their back five, they could switch their four players to go on to the left-hand side, and still we had the left back, Mitchell, actually looking to try and cover Christopher Nkunku. So today there were no those cross-field balls onto Christopher Nkunku, and I think not Nkunku, Noni Madueke, and that actually really affected Chelsea when it came to the attacking areas. Also, another thing, I was not quite comfortable with the midfield because I felt like Caicedo was isolated. And when we played in the first half, you could see the back three being created by Colwill, by Fofana, and by Marc Cucurella. I don't know why there was a lot of changes in the second half by having Fofana play as a pseudo right back and dropping Caicedo in between Fofana by having Caicedo play as an extra centre back. I don't understand that tactical choice that Enzo Maresca did. I also don't understand why Enzo Maresca decided also in the latter stages of the game to play Enzo Fernandez there. So probably it was something that maybe the team talked about, and maybe he wanted to have a player who will be able to play those balls over the top, but you don't do that. Now, what happened is that we now had Fofana playing as a right back, and then we had now Caicedo playing as a right centre back, and I couldn't understand why that happened. If you want to have full backs, if you want to build with a back four, I believe that it was much more. It was better for Enzo Maresca to just play Gusto down the right, Fofana and Colwill as a pair, and Cucurella down the left, and then you have probably Fernandez and Caicedo playing as the two holding midfielders, if that is what the manager wanted. But if the manager is now trying to anticipate by having Cucurella playing high and wide, and we can understand that he did that, especially in the second half, because he wanted to have João Felix occupy those central regions and have Cucurella making that overlapping run. But as we saw throughout the second half, when João Felix came in for Pedro Neto, we did not manage to see João Felix looking to make those underlapping runs and looking to allow Cucurella to overlap. And that was problematic. That's why Mikhailo Mudryk actually had to be introduced, and he came on. And I can clearly say that he played well when he came on. He was one of the players who were quite inspiring when they came on. And towards the latter stages of the game, Nicholas Jackson had again 2 chances, one one-on-one that he missed, another one which he side-netted. Jackson is that player that I don't know what is going to happen in this Chelsea team. Because you are relying on your striker to give you a goal, and then it is in the 90th minute. You expect him to actually to score that one-on-one goal. But Jackson is just Jackson. So Jackson manages to hit the ball directly to the goalkeeper, and it was just quite frustrating. Palmer got lost in that midfield. He had to drop deep so that he could receive the ball. And once Palmer drops deep, it takes away an attacking threat in our attack, meaning that the ball was not moving through the midfield well. And the ball was not moving through the midfield well is because the position in which Enzo Maresca was playing Caicedo, I did not understand why he had to play Caicedo or Enzo Fernandez in that backline. I don't understand. My preference would be that at least those 2 players would at least play in much central positions. It is good when you have your midfielders in those central positions, because Caicedo is able to receive the ball in that congested midfield, Enzo Fernandez, and this can allow Chelsea to have their best players, their best attacking players in those instances. Also, another thing that happened in this game, Jadon Sancho was unveiled as Chelsea's player. Again, Noni Madueke seems to be very inconsistent. Today he's playing well. Tomorrow he's not playing well. We are not attempting shots outside the box. We are not attempting to have shots. Sometimes you have the ball, we want to pass it to the back of the net. Sometimes you just have to make football easy. Sometimes when you have the ball, you'll just look to play it. Another thing, Enzo Fernandez is not generally offering anything when it comes to the attacking areas. Yes, he's playing with the ball well, but he's a player who you want with the ball in slightly deeper positions on the pitch. But again, this is where we have a problem with this hierarchy. Last season, when we played well, it's when we had Gallagher and Caicedo. This season now, Fernandez and Caicedo does not work. So when you have to play Fernandez in that left half space, he's not good at playing that position. He's not effective. My preference would have probably been Dewsbury Hall or maybe João Felix. Towards the end, also, João Felix managed to dribble past everybody, found himself in a position where he could square it probably to Christopher Nkunku, did not do that. So I think these are just some areas that needs to be ironed out, especially in the international break. The passing, the sequence of the passing was just quite okay. But generally, I was not impressed with and our midfield is quite open. And I'm saying this again. I don't know why Gusto is playing, because Gusto seems to be occupying a position that Pep Guardiola is using Rico Lewis at. That is somehow occupying the right half space to allow Palmer to play as a number 10. But that is leaving Caicedo exposed in that midfield. And that's why we saw the likes of Eze looking to pick the ball from that position. Players like Fernandez having to track back to try and win the ball. We need to have 2 pivots playing close to each other so that they are able to help each other. But if you have one player moving forward and the other is not staying back, or the fullback who's inverting is not inverting well, it's giving us a lot of problems. Does it mean that we now have to bring in Renato Viega and actually play him as a centre-back? Is that what we need supposed to do? Because I need somebody. I believe that last season we had a lot of success when Marc Cucurella was the one who was inverting in that midfield. So overall, this seems like 2 points dropped. And these are the kind of games that you look at towards the end of the season. and you just look at that performance, and you're like, we should have beaten Crystal Palace at home. Maybe if we did that, we would have qualified for the Champions League. Or if maybe we would have done that, maybe we would have won the league, or maybe we would have qualified for the Europa League. So you cannot lose the top four in the first 10 games. You cannot win the top four in the first 10 games, but you can lose it. So positives, I think even in the first half, Crystal Palace had a sizable size of possession. They had more touches in our box, meaning that they knew a way of actually getting to us. Overall, I was impressed with the performance of Colwill. I was impressed also with the performance of Fofana. I cannot blame him for playing in a position that he's not used to in the second half. Again, the substitutes, Mykhailo Mudryk impressed me when he came on. He was much more positive. He was looking to play those passes in field. Joao Felix came on, didn't see much about him, didn't see what, he just made a good dribble in the second half and did not give Chelsea anything going forward. Christopher Nkunku had a very good chance to square the ball back to Palmer in the second half, chose to hold on to the ball. And these are the kind of system problems that we have at this team. So it's like the players who are the starting 11, if you cannot get the best out of them, then you cannot rely on the bench. On paper, the bench looks good. You see Joao Felix, you see Christopher Nkunku, you see Mykhailo Mudryk, you see positive players. But in reality, when you are actually good, you are actually in the game, you realize that those players are actually quite underwhelming compared to those ones who are on the pitch. So I'm really, really, really waiting to see the return of Romeo Lavia. I want Lavia to play alongside Caicedo. So we need to have, the manager needs to take a bullet when it comes to the overall balance of the team, the balance between attack and defense. We're having Fernandes in a position where he cannot shoot to give us threat. He's closer to the goal, but he cannot shoot. He's also not quite creative. He's not quite fast. He's not a great dribbler. This is a player who excels playing slightly deeper, looking to dictate the play from deep. So why are we having him play in that high number 8 position? That is something that is really leaving me with a lot of problems. Also, I have a problem with the refereeing. I think Hughes should have been off in the second half. After making that tackle on Cole Palmer, Crystal Palace should have been down to 10 men because he was on a yellow card. He had made a foul on Caicedo before, but the referee decided to ignore that. And again, in the second half, before Palmer managed to have his free kick, Hughes was the one who brought him down. So in that situation, the referee should have given him a second yellow card. And actually, Crystal Palace should have been down to 10 men. If that probably happens, maybe we win this game, maybe we don't. But you can at least see it's something that we can really try to work on. So 1 draw, 1 defeat, one win. The first 3 games of the season. Is that something that I can take? No, probably. It's better to. It is understandable to lose to Manchester City. It is understandable to lose to beat Wolves. But when you lose to the big teams, it is understandable. It can happen. But when you have to lose to teams that you're not supposed to be drawing with the Crystal Palace at home, that's a win. You're not supposed to be losing to teams like Bournemouth at home or West Ham at home. No, these are teams that you should actually put to bed and beat them. But we can't do that. We are dropping points against teams that you're not supposed to be dropping points against. So how are we going to fare on against big teams? Because we can go to Newcastle and lose. So why are we not focusing on that? So am I positive about this performance? I'm not positive about this performance. The first half, I'm very positive with it. We moved the ball well. We controlled the game quite well. We should have actually gone 2-0 up. But in the second half, the tactical adjustments that were made, especially by having Gusto and Cucurella generating width in that second half, was not quite great, in my opinion. The decision of having Caicedo and Enzo Fernandez drop into that in between the two centre backs was also not my best. It wasn't something that I really liked, and this is something that is really giving me a lot of questions. So the blame can go to the manager for missing it tactically, and it can also go to the players who failed to execute what the manager had actually asked for them. So hopefully we can see something being done in the transfer window. We have 4 more games after the international break. Maybe we can try and look to try and work on those areas. And we need to, Enzo Maresca needs to study that midfield. He needs to watch those 3 games perfectly and understand that Caicedo and Fernandes cannot play together, and probably look to address this issue with the sporting directors. Also, I'm very keen on the return of Romeo Lavia. I think he's one player that we really need in that midfield, and probably Rhys James, because I believe that Enzo Maresca is not quite amused by having Malogusto invert in that backline. He wants probably Rhys James to invert in that backline, and maybe we can have Cucurella in that midfield to try and assist Caicedo, and probably that can give the team some stability. So I will go through your comments, and then we will probably see. So somebody's talking about Enzo is a stinker. Yeah, you're playing him at a position that he's not used to it. Shoot from outside the box, I've not seen. Yeah, we are talking about shooting from outside the box. Again, I've not seen this from the midfielders. When the ball bounces at the 18-yard box, we're supposed to be aiming to shoot, not just aiming to pass. Maybe you can get a deflection and probably score a goal. But I believed that we should have killed this game. I'm not usually very confident watching Chelsea game when we are 1-0, because I know very well we are going to concede. We also need to know how we are going to fix that backline, how we are going to put 2 midfielders to sit well and position themselves in good areas so that they can stop conceding goals from midfield. Another thing, we need to stop giving stupid free kicks. I think even the goal from Eze was just a clumsy free kick that we gave out, or is it a corner? So we need to avoid giving the opponent set pieces. We need to avoid, especially in our own half. If you want to give opponents set pieces, give them their own half. That's all I can say. Do you think Mudryk should pass more? I don't. With Mudryk, I don't know what to say. I don't know what to say with Mudryk. Today you can say he performed better. Tomorrow he will not perform good. So with Mudryk, it's quite inconsistent. Enzo offers nothing in both ends of the pitch. I couldn't say that. He probably offers something during build-up. He's very good at that. But is that what we want? I don't know. Cole Palmer was not good today. Cole Palmer made the assist for the goal, and also he found himself in a position where he could not affect the game because he was marked out of the game. So it was up to the other players to drop deep and look to give him more space. I did not see Jackson looking to drop deep as he did against Wolves. So those are the tactical problems. Maresca is the reason why we dropped points today. Why tactical change? You see, instead of Palmer, we lack. Yeah. I think that was a problem. This was a problem. The position in which Gusto and Cucurella had in the second half was not good. If we wanted to create overloads in the wide areas, then the best thing that we should have done, rather than dropping a midfielder deep, we should have just moved to a back 4. If that was the main aim, probably we would have saved ourselves all these problems. So Ruth is asking, is there an opportunity to join? Let me, Ruth, I will give you an opportunity to join as I look to adjust because I also want to watch the Liverpool game. I want to do a tactical analysis on that game and probably upload it on my second channel. So I can give you an opportunity, Ruth, if you're there. I can give you an opportunity. You come and probably just say one thing about this game. So let me share it with you. Yeah, you can click that, Ruth. You can click that and look to join the live stream, please. If you've seen the link, you can click to join the live stream. I'll just give you like around 2 to 5 minutes because we also need to check the Liverpool game. Yes, are you there? You've asked for the link. So overall, that is just what we saw in this game. That is just what we saw in this game, and hopefully we can try to see some vigor in the performance of this team. And I was not really impressed. Home. There's a guy called there's a lady called Ruth who asked for the link. I've not seen her on the discussion area. Okay, so probably we'll probably watch this game. I want to do a tactical analysis video of this game, and if you've stayed with us till the end of this live stream, so I will probably see you sometime as I join to try and watch this game. Thank you, Chinedu, for joining the link, but I have to watch this Liverpool game because I have to work on the analysis. So thank you, and also understand that the team is young and very mature, but hopefully things will improve. Thank you.